Word, son. What did you do, YouTube? It's your boy, Jadavon. All right, man, before we get into this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the worst way the links because you know how I do. If you haven't already, you can hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, man, so I got this college football 26 full gameplay as Bordeaux says it is because it was actually the same gameplay from the one that EA showed, but they just chopped it up. But the small spots that they chopped up or chopped out or cut out, Bordeaux filled that part in. So I do have a couple of clips here that I do want to talk about, and I got them all. I don't say timestamp, but I do have a few here that I want to talk about, and I want to more or less shed light on these things and make them aware of these things because I feel like we could get a better product than what we're being shown now. So make sure you sit back, chill, take a pee break, pause the video, get you some popcorn because you know how I do. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let me preface this now by saying, just like I said earlier, I feel like we can get a way more better product than what we're getting with College Football 26. And this is not about complaining. This is not about whining. This is not about anything in that realm. It's about making sure that we all get the product that we all deserve. You know what I mean? There are some mishaps that still from 25 that I've been seeing in this 26 gameplay that it's really hard for you to unsee once I point it out to you. Again, I'm always going to be on the side for the people to make sure that we have a better product. You know what I mean? So like I said, without further ado, let's get into it. So this first play here. Now, again, this was an inside zone. So he snaps the ball. Now, 75 goes to pretty much run over into this gap. Now, in the inside zone, they always said run the fit, right? So you see the tackle here. He gets it into shed or whatever. That's totally fine. So 75 is supposed to go all the way through and go up the field. I don't know if you see my mouse cursor, but he's supposed to go all the way through the field right now as a ball carrier. Now, me as a ball carrier, you're supposed to pretty much hit that gap, run the fit, right? These two guys here that are in the middle there are not a factor in the play because more times than not, I'm going to zip past them. So as I'm running, right, 75 turns around, blocks the gap I'm supposed to hit, and tries to go block somebody behind me. He then turns around again last minute to block who's ever in front of him. Now, these types of things, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like seeing this. You know what I mean? I've dealt with this a lot in College Football 25. And, you know, stuff like this, it just doesn't have a place in the game. You know, like this has to be a coding issue. It has to be because why are other games like NCAA 11 not having that issue? You know what I mean? A game that was way more limited on hardware and horsepower, they have more logic in terms of blocking rather than what we have now. I don't want to see my lineman turning around, and yet I've seen it time and time again in College Football 25. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, it's just one play. It's just one play. It doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, let's keep a tally on how many times, it's just one play happens throughout the course of a year. Let's just keep a tally on that. And I guarantee you're going to lose count. But, again, I don't want to see my lineman, not only one, turn around to block somebody, but two, go to a gap and stop right in front of me, impeding my movement rather than going up the field to go block somebody and creating daylight. Now, if 75 went all the way through, this is exactly what it's going to be. If he didn't stop to do this, you got a safety that's up top up here, right? You got Kirkpatrick to the left of my guy. Let's just say if I happen to be able to, get through the gap, right? If 75 went all the way up, he's to clean up that safety. Kirkpatrick, he probably got the insta shed or whatever. It doesn't look like it so far, but it looks like I probably would have just had one more guy to beat. You know what I mean? But there's no reason for that to happen at all whatsoever. And once you see these things, it's really hard to unsee it. But let's get into the next clip. Now, this speed option was a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Now, of course, the guy on the end, he did what he's supposed to do. Now, 87 up here, he makes one push, and that's the end-all, be-all, and he just goes up the field to do his own thing. Now, this I don't like. I don't like this because there's no reason to just make one push and then that's the end of it. He made contact with him even after the push, but there isn't any more contact after that. Now, some people are probably arguing and say that, if he pushes him again, that could be a penalty. That could be illegal block in the back. That could be clipping, whatever it is. You could probably make that argument, but again, if it's a penalty, call that. We haven't had a whole lot of penalties being called in college football because it has to be like a dead giveaway penalty, like an offsides or you are blatantly in the way of a pass of a wide receiver. Like it has to be that type of penalty. But clipping and all of that, it's never a given penalty unless you literally see him pushing him down to the ground from his back. You never see that. You know what I mean? But again, 87 shouldn't just do that. You know what I mean? There's got to be way more consistent blocking than that. And then not only even that, if we go back and look, 70 and 75 to the left of us, right? Look at what they do. Rather than going up the field and creating a convoy, because we have nothing but a room up here, right? I would like to see them create daylight, create a convoy, if you will. Create a bubble around me in case anybody tries to come make the tackle, right? Look at what they both do. They turn back around and go block somebody behind us. It's not even going to matter in the play in just a minute. Like, why are we still dealing with that? Like that, this has to be, I feel like a legacy issue at this point, because why are my linemen turning around? Why are they going back the other way to go block somebody? 70 should have been 70, at least 70 should have went up the field and went to go create some more daylight if there was daylight to be made. But either that or just, like I said, find somebody to block, but don't turn back around up the field. I mean, don't turn back around rather than going up the field. Don't do that. You know what I mean? This is literally a logic / coding issue. I really have a huge problem with that. This is something I've dealt with in 25 a lot. And to see it in 26 is really, really nerve-wracking. Because to me, it seems like y'all haven't figured out how to fix that problem, and you've yet to address it until you find a fix. But you won't communicate that because you don't want people to feel like, oh, well, they don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be transparent about these things. That's how we get a more of an honest, I guess I would say a more honest product or a more honest communication or transparency from a company like that, or at least from the community manager or the creative design director, whatever Scott O'Gallagher is to these guys. The transparency would be lovely, but stuff like this shouldn't be in the game. And it makes me really nervous for 26. But let's get into the next clip. Okay, now this play right here, the blocking on this one was a lot better. This is pretty much a lot better. But I want to highlight one part that kind of makes me kind of cringe a little bit, right? So I'm gonna let it play. And, as you can see, number 79, he gets insta-shaded. Okay, cool. He moves on to the next assignment. That's what I want to see them do more often. Don't turn back around and go block somebody, right? 71, he gets insta-shaded, right? Now, he doesn't turn around and go block somebody or whatever, nothing like that. 79 even cleans up the guy that's in front of him. So that's cool too, right? So 71, he's right next to me, right? Now, again, this is all ball movement type, all from the user, right? So 33 bumps into 71 and then the defender, right? Now, computer is in front of him, right? And this is Kirkpatrick. So as he bumps off of the guy and goes to his immediate left, he over pursues him. And misses the tackle completely. I don't understand why over pursuing is such a common thing in college football. I know people are probably going to say, oh, well, they over pursue all the time. I mean, not from that close. I can understand if it was maybe one of those things where we got like a 10, 15 yard difference and you're trying to track me down or you're coming through at a different angle, whatever the case is, but you literally see him overshoot that. I don't think Kirkpatrick is that bad of a DB to be overshooting like that at all, point blank period. Now, the guy that was in front of him, that was a user error. He literally didn't make the right angle to make that, and he got picked up out of block. But for Kirkpatrick to overrun him, I don't think his pursuit is that low to the point where he can just do that and that be normal. I don't think that this is normal for him. If over pursuing and pursuit angles are going to be a problem in 26, I don't know what to tell you guys, but that needs to be looked at. I feel like that really needs to be looked at. Next clip. All right, so on this play, I didn't really mind this play too much. Now, I know they're probably going to be, I'll stop it in a second once I finally get to where I need to get to, but as you can see, the pocket is fine. Both the linebacker sitting back in his zone, and you got the DBs going to their zones. Cool, not a problem, right? Now, here's the part where it gets a little bit of like, kind of tricky. So, as you can see, he steps in, he's trying to pretty much scramble through the middle of the pocket, right? So, he's scrambling. Now, people are pretty much saying, oh, why isn't he running down to the quarterback, right? He sees him scrambling. Now, to be 100% fair, you can't really tell if he's going to throw it or if he's going to run it. You don't really know. Now, this is where the user part comes in. Now, if you were to click the right stick, if you were sitting in a zone like that, then this what makes you crash down. Now, if you're looking at that, I figure that once you see him scrambling or the minute he moves, you click R3 to make him crash down to that. Now, again, it looks like he was in either a mid zone, or I mean mid read, or he was in a hook zone, whichever the two, right? So if he was in a QB spy, I felt like once that quarterback moved, he would have been sitting right in front of him, not off to the side like that. So again, he had to have been sitting in a mid read or a hook zone, because the minute he moved, he would have been right in front of him. You know what I mean? I would literally see him moving right to the front of him. Anytime that quarterback moves, he'll move right with him. Anytime he moved just like that. You know what I'm saying? So this right here, like I said, this I feel like would be more or less a user thing where you just got to look to see if he's going to scramble and then crash him down earlier so that you can prevent that from happening. But like I said, that play was just more or less, I'll be fair with that one. I will 100% be fair with that one. That one looked like he just didn't crash him down in time. So I think that's why he didn't he didn't move immediately, let alone he wasn't in a QB spot. So like I said, I'll be fair with that one. Next clip. Okay, now with this clip here, this one was a little bit iffy, right? This one's a little tricky, right? Now this player right here, I'm not sure if you see my cursor. I'll let it run, right? So as you can see, he's scrambling to the side with Simpson, right? Scrambling to the right. Now as he's scrambling to the right, there's a DB who is really running to. It looks like he's trying to go make that stop to the quarterback, even though he's some yards away, he's some feet away, right? It's not gonna make much of a difference. But as he's trying to run down to where the quarterback is. Let me run it back. He's running down to where the quarterback is. He's looking right at where the quarterback is doing. He's looking at what he's doing. Now, I feel like if this was on Heisman, I felt like computer would have made a pick on this or swatted it down. But there's no reason for him to look at the quarterback, see that he's throwing, and then there is no immediate adjustment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I say like it's kind of weird how this play panned out. I see this ending in multiple ways. I see this going one of three ways: a touchdown, a deflection, or a pick. You know what I mean? But to see the DB react like that is just weird to me. You know what I mean? Could it be a play rec thing? Maybe. Could it be an awareness thing? Maybe as well. You know, there's a lot of factors you could contribute to that. But just this situation alone, I've seen this become a bad down. I've seen this become a pick. I've seen this become a touchdown. But, you know, for him to look at the quarterback and he see him throwing the ball or gearing up to throw the ball, and then when the ball comes out, he's not able to immediately react, and it just makes him look stupid, like he's dumbing out and he don't know how to react to it. It's kind of questionable. You know what I mean? But you know, that, like I said, that was kind of, like I said, it was a questionable play, but we can move on to the next clip. Okay, so this play right here. Now, this one's more or less user error, but again, like, I'm still seeing my lineman turning around to block somebody behind him. Stop turning around. You've got to somehow look inside this coding or somehow look at why or understand why these linemen are turning around. We've got to stop that. We've got to. Now, again, this is more or less a user error because right between where 53 and 75 is, that's where he should have went. That was a gap he was supposed to hit. Now, this one was just a bad read. You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to sit here and say that, oh, it's the lineman's fault for turning around, because it's not the lineman's fault. Even if he did turn around, it wasn't going to make a difference if he would have hit the right gap. So this is more or less user error. But I still just want to understand why you have linemen turning around. Like, why is that still a thing in college football 26? You know, I think it's fair to have these conversations, and it's fair to have these healthy conversations, because what it does is it nips a lot of this stuff in the bud, and it makes it where we have a more consistent game. You know what I mean? And people will love to throw the trope around of, oh, it's college football, they make mistakes all the time. But I don't see linemen turning around like that. I don't see pulling linemen turning around to go block somebody. I don't see a lineman that's supposed to go up the field turning around to block somebody that's behind him that don't matter in the play. I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that. If it does, it's very few far in between, because as a lineman, you are not to focus on what's behind you at all. I know you're not supposed to focus on what's behind you. But the simple fact that these linemen are still turning around is just beyond baffling to me. And mind you, the entire time that this stuff is happening, even on the very first clip, Bordeaux doesn't say anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's why I feel like between Bordeaux, good game, bro, a lot of the game changers, quote unquote, this is why you have to have a fine balance of, yeah, this is cool, this is great, I like this, to I don't know, I don't really feel this, like, why is this blah 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 blah. You have to have that fine balance. You can't just have yes all the time. You have to have a little bit of pushback. You have to have a little bit of drawback. You have to have someone ask those questions. You have to have that transparency, because if you don't, then that becomes a conflict of interest. You have to have that conversation. It's cool to have that healthy conversation so that we can make sure that we all come together at the end and have that better, consistent product. But let's get into the next clip. Now, this is an onside kick. Now this is the one. Keep in mind that this type of onside kick, right? Because there's another one later on that I'm going to show you. Now, this onside kick right here. Now, this one is the more respectable, more realistic version of an onside kick that I can respect. And I think a lot of people can respect, right? So when you kick an onside kick, you're kicking the ball in a way where it pretty much rolls across the ground. It tumbles a certain way. And then once it rolls a certain way, the tumble will kick up. And it's supposed to hit one of the players, right? Like, that's how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to tumble and then at the very end kick up. You can't really tell the rhythm of when the ball is going to kick up because it's at random a lot. So seeing this, I can respect this a lot more because that's bound to happen. You can't really tell when the ball's going to kick up. That's why they want you to more or less trap the ball in. But anyway, so this onside kick I can respect. This is the most realistic outcome I could ever see. Whether they recover it or the kicking team recovers it. Whoever recovers the ball, I can respect that because that's the most realistic outcome or the most realistic way I've seen an onside kick happen. That looks more realistic. Let's get to the next clip. Okay, now this play right here, I feel like it's an 0-1 trap, I feel. Now, I really think this is 0-1 trap. I don't think this is inside zone. It's not a draw. This has to be an 0-1 trap. So as you can see, the play starts, right? And I want you to look at the tight end that has a star underneath him, right? Now he's going over to try to go block the linebacker. Now the part that I don't really necessarily 100% believe in, I don't believe that a linebacker from a standstill is just going to throw an arm at the tight end and then, oh, get off of me, and then that's the end of it all right there. Like, I don't believe that. You know what I mean? And another thing, I'll be fair, I hope that ability that's underneath him, I hope that ability is allowing him to be able to do that more consistently. I hope that that's what that is. But if that doesn't have anything to do with anything, that's a problem because there's no way how you claim to respect player height, weight, and momentum and all of that, but somebody from a standstill, they can just throw a shoulder or throw an arm at him, shove him off, and then that's the end of it. Like, the tight end, I'm sure, is not just that easy of a pushover. Like, I feel like there would have been more of a pushback than just that. You know what I mean? It didn't still even the fact, after the fact that he got pushed off like that, he's still standing there stammering, trying to figure out what he needs to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one because I don't really think that somebody from a standstill should have that type of power. I don't think that they should have that level of, oh, you can't move me, I'm a mountain type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I would respect that more from like a lineman. Like if it was a tackle trying to do that, if it was a tight end trying to do that to a nose tackle, I can understand that. You know what I mean? But a linebacker on a tight end, they kind of built the same. You know what I mean? But that could be a ratings thing. It could be the ability that the linebacker has. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But a little iffy on this one. But, let's keep it going. All right, so this play right here. Now, this is one of those ones where you thought that you picked a pass play, but it turned out to be a run, so you turn back around. But I want you guys to look at how many players you see are turning around. I see 1, 2, I see 3. I see one at the line. I see it looks like a wide receiver, and it looks like I see another one down the field turning back around. We got to really study and look at why you got these guys turning around the way that they do. I'm not understanding what is the cause in having them turn around so much. I'm not getting it. It's what it's looking to me. It looks like now it's a legacy issue, and I would love the transparency between these issues and why they're happening, because what it helps people understand why these things are happening and what the long-term or short-term goal is for these things, because again, it could become a detriment to your gameplay depending on whoever it's happening to. But again, this is just a big flub up, you know what I mean, that he picked the wrong play, thought it was a pass, but ran backwards and trying to be a run, you know what I mean, there was that type of thing. But I just really want to understand why you have guys on my own team turning around. Like, I'm not getting it. I'm not understanding that part. But let's get to the next clip. Now, this play right here, I want to talk about this play now. I don't know if people have talked about this or if anybody's been aware of it, but he throws a pick right here, right? So, boom, picks the ball off, right? Now, I want you to pay close attention to something real quick. Pay close attention. You see how he jerks over to the right at the last minute? When he catches the pick, he doesn't have total control over his guy yet. You have to literally take a few steps first, and then the part where you saw him like cut to the right late after, right when he gets to that block, that's him finally getting back control of his man, because everybody knows when you catch that pick, right, you can't run forward. There's nothing you can do right there. So your best bet is to try to cut across the field and get over here to the space. Now, if anybody's back here behind there, you don't really know. You don't know for sure. But you want to cut across the field and try to get to some open room, or at least try to, because you can see what the score is. But the fact that he has no control over his guy until late after a few, what was that? Well, how many steps was that? What? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It seemed like between 5 to 7 steps, he tried to pitch the ball to, find a way to win somehow. But it seemed like 6 or 7 steps, I'll say 5 steps after the catch animation, he had no control over his player. Like, that alone is a problem. I don't even think people even talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact as a user, you can feel when you don't have control over your player. You can feel that. You know what I mean? And I can see it. I know that when I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that also needs to be talked about. Why don't we have control over our players whenever we catch a pick like that? Why is it always a few steps they got to take first before we can gain control of our player? Now, that is a deep-rooted issue. I remember, I forget which Madden it was, but when they still had the Jurtle, right? I remember it was called a jump hurdle, but whenever you caught the ball, in order to break that lack of control that you have, you press the button for Jurtle, and whenever you Jurtle, you broke that lack of control that you had. So once you did that, everybody did that when they caught a pick, so you can regain control over your guy. And anytime you did that, that was how you were able to, like I said, get control of your man. But now that that's gone, you have no way to really remedy that and try to gain control of your guy. You got to pretty much just wait it out and hope that whatever's in front of you either is far enough to the point where you have a chance to try to regain control and make your moves after that, or you hope that the direction they're pushing you in is the direction that is the best route to go score, or to go get a big pick six game, or a turnover, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, that definitely needs to be looked at as well. But let's get into the next clip. Okay, now this play to me is interesting as well, because I've seen this a lot in 25. Now, he drops back, makes that pass, cool. Everything looked all good. Now, I want you to look at my wide receiver right here that's in the top left quadrant of your screen, right? Look at him jogging and him just not even paying attention to what's in front of him. He allows 3 guys, not even gonna say 3, he allows 2 guys to practically close in on making that tackle. Now, granted, he made both of them miss, and the third guy ended up making a tackle. But, why are we having wide receivers become that lax? Why are they not blocking? Why are they not doing their jobs? I'm not understanding that. You know what I mean? Now, you can probably say, well, number one ain't blocking either. He was pushed off of a block. He was pushed. You know what I'm saying? He was pretty much shoved out of the way. So there was nothing he could do. He was already out of the play. But the fact that number 5 up there, y'all know the names. Y'all can put him where y'all need to. But the fact that he isn't blocking and he's off doing his own thing, like from the beginning whistle to the end of the play whistle, from first whistle to the last whistle, you are to play tough. You are to play hard. You are to play with that sense of there's no quitting. You are not to quit on a play. If you quit like that, coach is more or less likely going to chew you out or sit you down. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. And again, these game changers are not seen. They're not mentioning this at all. You know what I mean? And people are looking at me like I'm complaining or I'm whining, but let this happen to you. Let me see you have this same reaction when your guys are just jogging around, not blocking anybody. When you could have easily probably had a big gain, if not a touchdown, because your guy blocked. But no, you got your guy just jogging around doing his own thing. His mind is just anywhere but the play at hand. Again, we have got to look at this. We've got to understand why this is happening. Scott O'Gallagher, I need for you to help me understand why this is a problem. Because right now it's looking like it's a legacy issue. There's no reason for these guys to be doing what they're doing. Absolutely none at all whatsoever. Like, this needs to be fixed. I see this way too often in college football 25, and to see this in 26 is extremely alarming. Let's get into the next clip. Okay, now this is the onside kick that I want to show you guys, right? Now, the last one I said I respected a lot more, right? I respected because it was more like a realistic outcome to the onside kick, right? So he kicks the ball, boom, right? He kicks the ball, and look at how far the ball is when the guy decides to try to go down and scoop the ball. Now, I want you guys to keep this in mind, and he ends up hitting it, and they scoop the ball up, and they recover, right? But keep in mind, right? You see how far the ball is away from the guy, and he decides to try to scoop the ball up or trap it in, whatever the case is, right? The ball is so far away for that to happen, one, right? And then two, it's all contextual. We don't have the ability as users to press a button and make him dive on the ball or make him scoop the ball up. We don't have that option. Everything is contextual. Everything is based off of whether or not the game is going to determine what the guy's going to do. Right? This is a ball that you are to lay on. There's no reason for you to be scooping this up unless you as a user want to try to scoop it up. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for this to happen. And what's crazy than that is this was really exploitable in MUT, either on Madden or on college football, whichever the one. I think it was Madden, I believe. But this is really exploitable on Madden because, again, everything is contextual. It's a dice roll animation or a dice roll chance to whether or not he's going to scoop the ball up or if he's going to lay on the ball or if he's even going to attempt to pick the ball up. But there's no reason for this to even be a thing at all, whatsoever. There's a reason for this to happen. Like, this doesn't make sense. And let this be a game where you need to recover this ball and your guy does that. Now, again, somebody could probably make the argument and say, oh, well, you got to come out in the onside kick recovery team or the hands team, whatever the case is. I can get that. I can understand that as well. But even if the event where you don't come out in that formation, you still have to be able to have the choice whether or not you want to scoot the ball up or you want to lay on the ball. But the fact that the ball is this far away from you and you're trying to pick the ball up, knowing the fact that you can see where the ball is very alarming to me. There's no reason for you to try to scoop the ball up and be that far away purposefully just so that the kicking team can recover the ball. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable whatsoever. Let's get into the next clip. Okay, now this play right here. Now this one was just a regular degular. You know, he made the read, he made the pass. All right, cool. Almost got swatted down by the lineman. But I want you to look at this wide receiver over here to my immediate left of the left quadrant of your screen. The top left-hand quadrant of your screen. Now, as you can see, his job now is to block, right? Now, the DB, as you can see, there is a noticeable size difference, right? That is like literally having, I don't know, Champ Bailey going up against somebody like a Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. Just a tall dude towering over a little dude, right? So, as you can see, right, you see the DB running into the wide receiver, but there's no engagement. There's no nothing. There's absolutely no type of blocking attempt whatsoever. He's literally just rubbing up against him, and there is no type of engagement. Why is this even a thing? Like, why are we not engaging on blocks? Seeing this would, like, frustrate me because it's like, okay, I'm down 7-21. I need all my guys to be hands on deck here. I'm home on top of that, right? Why are my guys not engaging on blocks? Like, that becomes frustrating. Like, I need everybody on cue here. You can't sit here and say, oh, well, they miss blocks like that all the time, IRL. No. How do you miss a block that somebody is literally nudging you? Somebody is literally making contact with you, and there's no engagement on a block whatsoever. There's no engagement at all. That's got to be what, a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver has got to be. I might be reaching, but as you can see, there's a noticeable size difference. But there is no engagement on a block whatsoever. You would rather literally sit here and have me struggle and have my guys not block just to have them do that. And again, game changers aren't even mentioning this. Even in the gameplay, Bordeaux doesn't mention this. And it's no knock to him. You know, he sees the game as fun, and it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad. I understand that. But you can't take the good with the bad when you're trying to make a comeback. Now's not the time to have your guys just dumb out and do whatever they want to do on their own. The blocking has to be better in this game, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be. There's no reason for that to be a thing. I see this a lot in 25, and again, to be seeing this in 26 is extremely alarming. Next clip. Now this clip here. Now, again, he's running an RPO, right? He throws it to number 0. Insert the names here, wherever y'all see him, Robinson, right? So you have, let me see, not the interior, I'll say interior, not the slot, but you have what's his number? I'm sorry, where is he? I just seen him. Hold on. Number 7, I believe, right? I think this is number 7, right? So he's throwing the RPO, right? He throws to the screen, right? He throws to number 0, catches the ball, boom, not a problem, right? Now 7 has the obligation to block the guy that's in front of him, right? The guy that's in front of him even necessarily kind of makes contact with him, but he doesn't engage on the block, but instead he skips over him and he goes to the other guy that's in front of him. Why are we not blocking the first assignment? It's not like he went out of his way to go block him. No, he literally just did not engage with the guy that was in front of him first before the other guy came around. Why are we not blocking, ladies and gentlemen? Why is blocking such an inconsistent thing? I'm not understanding it. I understand some people are going to be like, well, blocking isn't like that. Isn't consistent IRL neither. I mean, do you watch college games? I mean, apparently not, because they're not always going to be 100% on blocking. No game is perfect. And I'm not saying that these games need to be perfect. Stop saying that. What I'm saying is the integrity of blocking is completely compromised. Is completely compromised. And the fact that game changers really aren't talking about it rather than glossing over it is extremely alarming. Some people call this game fun. Some people call it fun where you and your buddy can put up 120 points amongst the both of you in every single game with literally no defense being played and these types of things being rampant in the game. Oh, it's just one play. No, it's not about, it's just one play. It's about how consistently this happens. If this is very few far in between, I wouldn't even bat an eye at it. If they really respected X's and O's football, I wouldn't even be tripping about it because it's just a funny little blooper. But the fact that this is common in college football 26 and in 25, is really alarming. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to preface this by saying, this isn't crying. This isn't complaining. This isn't whining. This is about getting the product that we all deserve. A lot of y'all are surface level. A lot of y'all are just happy and running with the plight of, or the trope, of, oh, I'm just happy to have a college football game. Be grateful we got a college football game, man. We're so back. Yada, yada, yada. It's all right. I'm not tripping over that. I'm just happy that it's back. Rinse and repeat. You know how it goes. But again, I'm on your side, but I'm just taking a different angle. I'm on the angle of fixing these issues before it comes out rather than having to deal with it at launch and relegate it with updates as time go on. I'm not trying to play a game where I need 50 million updates just to fix one problem. And then keep in mind, whenever they send out an update, it breaks something else. I'm not trying to deal with that. I know a lot of y'all ain't trying to deal with that. A lot of people aren't. But to have these conversations is healthy. It keeps the devs honest. It keeps the transparency there. It keeps it to where now they become more aware of these said issues and try to do their best at fixing it or communicating to the community that, hey, we see that, there's been some issues with blocking, so this is what we decided to do. If that communication was there and that transparency was there, I guarantee you I would be so much more lenient. But the fact that the game changers aren't saying anything about some of these things that I'm highlighting. The community managers aren't saying anything. Scott O'Gallagher not even mentioning, or providing transparency on some of these things is quite alarming to me. You can't have just, this game is great. Oh, it's fun. It's this and that. You can't just have that. You have to have a healthy balance of, okay, this game is great. I like it. It's fun. And I don't know, like what was going on with this play right here? Because I feel like it should have been yada, yada, yada. You have to have that healthy balance, right? It's not always negative, but yet constructive criticism. Being negative is just saying, I hate this game. I hate the devs. I hate everything about it. I hope this game doesn't succeed. That's being hateful. That is what being hateful is. Hating on the game is that. Providing constructive criticism is what I literally just did. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on your side. However, I want you guys to take this video, clip it however you need to clip it, screen record it, do whatever you need to do. But this needs to get over to EA. This needs to get over to Scott O'Gallagher. I need for him and I need for people at EA to see this video. I need for them to understand that these things have to be fixed. And, hopefully we can get a better polished product before College Football 26 drops. Because if not, I see a lot of exploits. I see a lot of cheesing. I see a lot of early metas that are willing to happen in this game if we don't fix these issues. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure to like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Divine, and I'm signing out. Peace.